Welcome to our continuing series Questions and Answers from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Today's subject is Inertia, Part 1. From Sri Aurobindo. The three qualitative modes of nature are inextricably intertwined in all cosmic existence. Tamas, the principle of inertia, is a passive and inert nescience which suffers all shocks and contacts without any effort of mastering response, and by itself would lead to a disintegration of the whole action of the energy and a radical dispersion of substance. The opportunity for these contrary forces is given when the sadhak descends in the inevitable course of the sadhana from the mental or the higher vital plane to the physical consciousness. Always, this is accompanied by a fading of the first deep experiences and a descent to the neutral, obscure inertia, which is the bedrock of the unredeemed physical nature. It is there that the light, the power, the ananda of the divine has to descend and transform everything, driving away forever all obscurity and all inertia, and establishing the radiant energy, the perfect light, and the unchanging bliss. It is precisely this loathness to do anything that must be got rid of, for it is simply an acquiescence in the force of the inertia. If you can do nothing else, the old methods of violence to yourself, etc., will obviously be unfruitful. You should call on the divine peace and force to descend and deal with it and open yourself to the action. If this obstructing physical is made to admit and respond to that, then the key of the solution will be there. I do not see why you doubt the fulfillment in your material consciousness. If there is faith, quietude, openness in the rest of the being, the material is bound to open also. Tamas, inertia, ignorance, stupidity, littleness, obstruction to the true movement are universal characteristics of the material consciousness. So long as it is not enlightened, regenerated, and transformed from above, they are not peculiar to yours. Therefore, there is here no sufficient reason or justification for the doubt you describe. The only thing to do in this unpleasant phase is to be more obstinate than the physical inertia and to persist in a fixed endeavor, steady persistency without any restless struggle, to get a wide and permanent opening made even in this solid rock of obstruction. It means that you are in full grips with the subconscient physical. However heavy and tedious the resistance, you have to persevere till you have got the peace, knowledge, force down there in place of the inertia. The physical sadhana is to bring down the higher light and power and peace and ananda into the body consciousness, to get rid of the inertia of the physical, the doubts, limitations, external tendency of the physical mind, the defective energies of the vital physical nerves, and bring in instead the true consciousness there, so that the physical may be a perfect instrument for the divine will. Defects of the physical consciousness. There are many, but mainly obscurity, inertia, tamas, a passive acceptance of the play of wrong forces, inability to change, attachment to habits, lack of plasticity, forgetfulness, loss of experiences or realizations gained, unwillingness to accept the light or to follow it, incapacity through tamas or through attachment or through passive reaction to accustomed forces, to do what it admits to be the right and the best. This negation is the very nature of the physical resistance, and the physical resistance is the whole base of the denial of the divine in the world. All in the physical is persistent, obstinate, with a massive force of negation and inertia. If it were not so, sadhana would be extremely cursory. You have to face this character of the physical resistance and conquer it however often it may rise. It is the price of the transformation of the earth consciousness. Apart from the individual difficulty, there is a general difficulty in the physical earth nature. Physical nature is slow and inert and unwilling to change. Its tendency is to be still and take long periods of time for a little progress. It is very difficult for even the strongest mental or vital or even psychic will to overcome this inertia. It is only by bringing down constantly the consciousness and force and light from above that it can be done. Therefore, there must be a constant will and aspiration for that and for the change, and it must be a steady and patient will, not tired out even by the utmost resistance of the physical nature. What stands in the way, of course, is always the vital ego with its ignorance and the pride of its ignorance, and the physical consciousness with its inertia, which resents and resists any call to change, and its indolence, which does not like to take the trouble. It finds it more comfortable to go on its own way, repeating always the same old movements, and at best, expecting everything to be done for it in some way at some time.